What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video, we are going to be talking about what I would want if they came out with a new Switch model. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so in this video, we are going to be talking about Nintendo releasing a new model of the Switch. Whether or not it's going to be like the Vita, or whether or not it's going to be a giant Nintendo Switch. So, I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it, and I want you guys to comment down below what you would like out of this new Switch model if it is actually coming in 2019. Now, I'm going to talk about some stuff that I love about the Switch and some things that I would love to see fixed about the Switch. So, we're going to let you guys know right now what that's all about. Now, first we're going to talk about something that I think is a really wacky or weird thing that Nintendo could do just to maybe change it up and make it cheaper. And that is if they made the whole Switch just one thing. No removable freaking Joy-Cons. Just the Joy-Cons on the thing, on the Switch, and not removable. You could put it on a dock, or you could play it in handheld mode. Now, if you put it on a dock, you would have to obviously not be able to use Joy-Cons, or at least not the Joy-Cons connected to it, so you could be able to use a Pro Controller or other Joy-Cons, which I could see being a good feature for Nintendo, because they could say, hey, here's the deal. Here's the Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons attached that won't remove for $199. If they could figure out how to bring the cost down from $299 to $199, I think they could definitely sell this at a much broader pace and make a buttload more money. Now, that's something that may not be as wanted or warranted maybe, just because I feel like a lot of people, if they're buying the Switch, they want to be able to take it with them as well as play it at home, which they could, but they would have to buy more accessories or a Pro Controller with that. So I think that could go either way. If there's fans of just the portable mode, they could literally just buy this thing, save $100 and have exactly what they want, because all these Switch games being able to be played on the go makes it so much easier. And that's why I am a huge fan of the Switch, because I can sit down, play it at home when I'm not busy. I could put the game in and play it, and then whenever I have to go somewhere, whether it's work or someone else's house or just travel in general, I can put that thing in its case and then go wherever I want and play it, which is something that I love about the system, as well as I'm sure you guys do as well, because being able to take games and continue them, especially the really long games, on the go, that way you're not forgetting things. I feel like that is a great thing that Nintendo has done here. Now, another thing I would like to see, and this is kind of going back to the PS Vita as well, is an OLED screen. So those PS Vita screens that had the OLED screens were some of the best looking screens at the time when they were released. And if Nintendo comes out and says, hey, we have an OLED screen on the Switch, but left it the exact same, I would probably go out and buy it, just because I know it's gonna look better and it'll probably save battery life, which is just based on the screen itself. Which then leads me to the next thing. If I could get a Switch, instead of being this thick, if it was like this thick, and it had a better battery and maybe some thicker Joy-Cons for the buttons, the trigger and the bumper buttons, I think that could be a big seller. Maybe sell this quote XL version, which I know is a terrible naming scheme that Nintendo's been following through with for quite a while. But if they made it thicker, made it a little bit bigger, more adult size, I guess is the word, because some of those bumpers are a pain to try to hit. But not that bad, but having maybe a bigger screen and maybe bigger battery life would make this thing rock so much more, because being able to play Zelda for 3 hours is fun, but if you came and hit me with an 8 to 10 hour battery life, I would literally be like, I'd never have to charge my Switch. Right now I use it quite often and I take it places with me, and if I don't remember to put it back on the dock at night, sometimes when I open it up the next day or a few days later, if I haven't touched it in a while, it'll be at like 20%, and I'm like, what can I do with 20%? So I'll have to put it on the dock and either wait or just play it while it's on the dock. So that's one thing I would love to see, is not only a better OLED screen, but also a better battery life. And that is something that I think would benefit the Switch and Nintendo a lot, and they would sell a ton more. Now, one thing that I'm going to propose that's not as weird and wacky out of the gate is maybe color options for the Joy-Cons. They're pretty minimal. I mean, you can get your red ones, you can get your blue ones, and your gray ones, which were available at launch. Then you can get the red ones if you get a Super Mario Odyssey bundle, and then you can get the green ones. I think that's all. Oh, and the Splatoon one. I almost forgot that one. But that's only 3 different colors that weren't available on launch. I think that could definitely up some sales if you said, hey, here's some green ones, here's some blue ones, here's some yellow ones. We already have all those colors. But what if you said, hey, here's some purple ones, here's some atomic purple, here's some see-through green, see-through orange. I think those things would sell like hotcakes, because you've got people going out and getting shell replacements for their Joy-Cons in order to put those on them to make them look better. Also, in that same vein, what if you could get a Switch that matched your Joy-Cons? So think of it kind of like the iPhone 5Cs, I guess it is. How those came out in multiple different colors and looked really great. I think that would be something that Nintendo could do, and it'd be very simple, but I think you might be able to sell 2 Switches to people. Like myself, if I just had one, which I have 2 to be honest, if I had one and it was just a gray one, and Nintendo released a blue one or a green one or a purple one or a pink one, whatever my favorite color was, if they released that, I'm probably more likely going to want to buy that if I have the money. So I think that could have been something that they could do going forward. Now let's talk about those Joy-Cons. Those Joy-Cons are really sweet and really awesome, but I know there's a few third parties making D-pads on them, but what if Nintendo said, here's an option. You can either get the 4 buttons on the left side or you can get a D-pad. I think they would sell a bunch more with the D-pad for those people that are literally just taking the Joy-Con on the go and using the Joy-Cons attached to their Switch. Because realistically, the Switch is such a retro machine. There's so many great arcade games, there's new games being released that are retro looking, there's all sorts of great things that I think could really benefit of having a D-pad. Now I know there's some Hori controller that just kind of does what the Switch Joy-Con does, but not everything, and it has a D-pad. I think that's licensed by Nintendo. And there's some other weird ones that you like stick over the buttons and then it's a D-pad, but I've heard bad things about that. Think about it this way. What if Nintendo sold these things for 40 or 50 bucks and they only spent 10 bucks or 20 bucks into these things? I think that could be something that they could make a ton of money on, and all these people would say, there's a good Joy-Con D-pad, let's go buy it. And I think they would sell that, and that would basically make them a bunch more money. So those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. Should they make it with Joy-Cons that are attached? Should they make a larger one? I want you guys to tell me and let me know down in the comments what you think. Are you happy with the Switch? What would you like improved on it? All that stuff is cool. Let's have a conversation down below and let's talk about that. With that being said, I just want to say thank you for watching. I always have a ton of fun making these videos, and this was something that I like because I love the Switch, obviously, and new things would be really cool to add to it. With that being said, don't forget about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Big Cartel, Patreon. All this stuff is down below in the description. And I do now have a new shirt on Amazon for sale, so that should be in the description as well. If you don't see it there, make sure you leave a comment to let me know. But I have made my logo into a shirt, as well as the Game Boy shirt as well, so be on the lookout for that if you would like in either one of those. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification because that lets you see my videos whenever they come out. Thank you all so much and have a good day.